So you need to, today in the age of technology, you have intranet. So you have your policies and publish them on the intranet, so that you don't have to go behind asking people, am I entitled for this or am I entitled for that? You just go online, you can see what's there in it for you. Right. Then HR information systems and automation. Do you know, are you knowledgeable about HR information systems? When the IT company, the service provider comes to you, do you know what to tell, what you want as user requirements? Or does the IT company just land something on your table and go away, off the shelf something, you know, as a HR database? And then when you start working with it, you find that there are so many discrepancies and you can't work. In our organization, we customized what the supplier gave us, almost 75% of the HRIS system. Because we said we want what we can work with, and your system should be able to give us the information, what we require, not what you want to give us. Right? And of course, the HR administration. And in most organizations, this HR administration part is known as HR management. Okay. So that's the first part of the grouping. Here again, you need to be thoroughly knowledgeable and competent about all of these if you want to put HR in the front seat and if you want yourself to get accepted as a HR professional in your organization. Then we move on to HR measurements. Sorry. Do you have a system to measure your HR function? This is about HR measurements that track the impact of HR on the business and behavior of people to improve performance. Number one is HR metrics. That means, do you have measurements in place to measure your own service delivery? Do you have a documented procedure? What do you measure? Do you measure your recruitment? What is the wait time of an interview candidate when he comes into the HR department? How long does he wait or she wait before the first interview takes place? I have seen people waiting. Even in our company, we don't tolerate that. And if somebody is responsible for that, then action is taken. We have said you call a candidate in only at the time the person is to be interviewed. If the line managers are not available, then send the candidate away. Most often what happens is HR schedules the interviews and the line managers are not available. They put something else in their diary. And then they say, we need this recruitment very fast. Right? So, measurements to measure your service delivery. HR analytics. Do you have, from your HRIS, do you take reports, do you analyze them? Do you pass it on to your line management to analyze? For data-driven decision making? When it comes to pay increases, how do you do your pay increases? Do you see the positioning of each individual versus their performance within the competition? Do you have midpoint ratios to judge the positioning of each employee's base pay to the market medians? Right? Or sometimes do we know all of this? So if you don't acquire knowledge and gain competence, right? So analytics is about analyzing information about employees, their performance, their remuneration, their lengths of service, whatever you have, before you make a decision. So this is data-driven decision making where employees are concerned. Then do you have a monthly MI management information to the management from HR, HR dashboard, where you have identified certain information that you want to share with the senior management of the group or your company or your enterprise? And then in this area, the final thing is the HR audit, which means when you have the measurements, do you have a system to audit it? How frequently do you audit your services? Who does the auditing? Is it an external party? Is it a HR person? Is it a person from another department, another company within your organization? And then what do you do with that information? Do you just keep it aside, okay, we did the HR audit, or do we really analyze, do a self-appraisal, and then take action to improve on the areas that you need to improve in the coming month or the coming quarter? Right. So that's the next grouping where measurements are concerned. Then another highly technical area in HR is about job banding and remuneration management. I know the multinationals, the gentleman from Unilever was here, I think he's speaking today. I'm sure multinationals do this, but not so much the national organizations. Where you evaluate a job, so that starts with position specifications. That means every position, every job, does it have a job profile? Profile for the position and not for the individual in the organization. You want to hire this person for this position. What is the profile of this position? What is the age band? What qualifications does this job holder need to have? What professional, what academic? What years of experience after qualifying should the person have? What technical competencies should the person have? All this needs to be listed. So then this becomes the source document for searching for recruitment. Otherwise, today for the same position, you will carry one advertisement. 3 months down the road, when you want to advertise again for that position, it will be a different advertisement. Why? Because there was no laid down profile for the position or the job role. So every job role in your organization needs to have a job profile. Then job description. Arising from the profile of the position, then you do the role clarification or the job description. And that job description then becomes the source document to evaluate that position. Scientifically evaluate the job. Those who have done job evaluations, we know there are 3 dimensions: know-how, problem solving, and accountability. Know-how, problem solving, and accountability required for the position. Not of the job holder, but required for the position. What level of problem solving skills should the job holder for this position have? What level of accountability is there in the job description? What level of problem solving skills should the job holder have, and what level of know-how for the job role should the person have? So these 3 dimensions are then measured, and then you get a point score, and then you know in the organization this job is at this band or at this level, at level 1, level 2, or level 3. Otherwise, in the absence of that, what we do is we hypothetically think this position can be a general manager's role, or this position can be a senior manager's role, or this position can be a manager's role. Right? So job evaluations is very critical. And positions management, what I call positions management, is that every job role has a job description, and the designations or the job titles don't arbitrarily change. Sometimes in your organizations you will find, say, sales executive. Within brackets you will find something, sales executive Lahore or sales executive Karachi. That's good. But then the job function is the same, whether you work in Lahore or in Karachi. But the moment you bring in that within brackets, that it becomes a different designation altogether. So I have seen in organizations when you can manage with about 100 designations, you have about 800 designations. And it becomes unwieldy to manage all these positions. Sure. Then remuneration planning and management. From after you evaluate the jobs, then you arrive at your remuneration, the salary ranges for each job band with a minimum, a midpoint, and a maximum, and a set of benefits. Right? Moving on, organizational development is the next area. Process for improving profitability, productivity, morale, and quality of work life. So, do you have technical and behavioral competencies for every job role? Technical competencies and behavioral competencies, where you can use in your recruitment and selection process. Do you have a talent acquisition program? That means how do you recruit for positions which are very difficult to find? In your organizations, you will find that there are certain jobs, however much you advertise, however much you search, you can't find the correct person. So what's the kind of program that you have? A talent pipeline, or building a database for people, for headhunting? Where do you go and headhunt? Whom do you talk to? For acquiring the talent that you need to acquire. Then selection and recruitment processes. Do you have different types of testing for different positions? Do you have the interviewers certified and trained to interview? Or you just pick up anybody to interview and then they come and sit at the interview panel. Half the time they are talking among themselves rather than interviewing the candidate. They see the CV for the first time when they sit at the interview panel. Then do you have a performance management system? Now these performance management systems I have seen companies introduce with a lot of fanfare and with a lot of gusto. 2 years down the road it's non-existent. Then again you start it. So sustainability is the key in performance management systems. And education and training of evaluators as well as the employees about their role in managing a performance management process. Then the learning and development programs. Do you have structured learning and development programs? Do you identify training needs based on different requirements, and based on those training and learning needs, is it that you develop your learning and development plan? Or you just see something in the newspaper, training seminar advertised, and then think, okay, this is my friend's seminar, so I need to send some people, and we nominate people. Right? So structured learning and development plans. Then the next part is talent management and succession planning. Identifying your talent pools and developing them, and identifying successors for key positions in your organization, from within the organization or externally. If somebody leaves today, does this position have a replacement in-house, or have you planned what are you going to do about it? So career planning and career paths is again an important area, where for every job role, from to the bottom to the top, you have publicized and said, these are the steps in this. If you join as an accounts trainee, and if you want to be the finance director, these are the steps on the way, these are the qualifications and experience that you need for each step. Then do you have talent management programs? In our company, we have a talent pool which comprises of about 280 people out of 3,000 executives, where we have identified on our performance management system is on a rating of 1 to 4. 4 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. All 4 raters and high-end 3 raters are in the talent pool, from assistant manager and above. And these people are reviewed by a committee comprising the chairman and 2 others, and then they are taken off the talent pool or new people added to it every year. And then the succession planning goes similarly, where you identify for every position a successor for the critical positions at levels 1, 2, and 3 in the company. Employee recognition is the next group of items. That's what do you do for retaining of your star performers? Do you have retention programs? Or do you wait till somebody comes and tells you, I'm going to leave tomorrow, and then you get excited about it and then run all over the place and say, you know, this guy is going to leave, how can we retain him? Or do you have a structured retention plan? Mobility, do you encourage mobility among your employees? Do you have internal vacancy notices? Before you hire from outside, do you advertise them internally? And are people prepared to be mobile across different disciplines and different businesses within your organizations? Or even to different countries? I have seen when people are selected to go to different parts within the country or overseas, then they come and say, look, my child is schooling, my wife is this, you know, I can't go, I can't do this. And then you are stuck, you don't have a person to take that role. So do you have publicized mobility programs within your organization? Then rewards and recognition. What kind of awards programs do you have? Does it happen on a regular basis at a given frequency? Maybe service awards, performance awards, achievement awards, instant awards for doing something right, going beyond the call of duty. At Citibank, we had what we call gotcha. Every supervisor could identify a person who the person thought went out of his or her way to do something. And the supervisors were given a bunch of dirham notes. I think it was 50 dirhams. So you just take it out and give the voucher to the person, saying, gotcha, you did it. You know, instant recognition programs. Then, sorry, I had to rush through. Then finally, employee relations. Do you have adequate employee communication programs? Is it only confined to your staff magazine? Do people read the staff magazine? Or they just look at it on face value and throw it away? So is the quality in that, the information in that, do we evaluate? Do we have a system to improve? And apart from that, what are the other internal communication programs that you have? Sometimes employees might be reading about your organization from the newspaper, but they don't know. Employees should be the first people to know about any change or any new thing that happens in the organization before it goes to the media. Then employee welfare programs, scholarship schemes, different things that you do for their welfare, and engagement. This is very key, employee engagement. Inclusivity versus exclusivity. Do you include in the decision-making process? Do you have a system? If you are designing a performance management system, do you include people from different levels in the organization, get their views, and then design? You know, we are very good at excluding people. Sometimes we like to have an elite group of people, 5 or 6, that's all. We don't want anybody else to infringe into that group. Right? So remember, inclusivity